Welcome to this video on the Maths channel, where I'm glad to announce I am going to be doing a new series here where I keep track of the games of the World Cup qualifiers in CAF, which is the African Football Confederation, and I will be more precisely looking into Group B, where that includes Tunisia, Zambia, Mauritania and Equatorial Guinea. And if you want me to cover any other groups, then I'll do just that. I do like to keep up to date with what's the majority of what's going on in the World Cup for the qualifiers. But let's get it right into it. So before I preview these upcoming games, I'll give a little info into these four teams. I start with the weakest team, Equatorial Guinea. Well, weak by ranking. Who knows where they might finish. But Equatorial Guinea, the only Spanish-speaking nation in Africa. They actually faced Tunisia, the favourites in this group, during the qualifiers of the Africa Cup of Nations. Lost both games. I don't think they'll be making any strides towards getting into the next round of the World Cup qualifiers, but stranger things have happened. Stand-up player, I'd say, is Pedro Obiang, former West Ham midfielder. And so, yeah, Equatorial Guinea, I think, won't be doing too much, but they're probably one of the better of the pot four teams, if you may. Mauritania, they are a team who I don't think will be challenging much, but they might pull off a few surprises, get some results off the bigger teams in the group. And this is going to be the second time within 2 years, maybe even more, but at least starting from the last Africa Cup of Nations, that they'll be facing Tunisia. So they played Tunisia in the Africa Cup of Nations, the last one, playing them yet again, and then again in the FIFA Arab World Cup, and then again in the next African Cup of Nations, and either before or after that, at some point they're going to be playing again in the international break. I think it'll be in March, but I'll check that afterwards. So yeah, and Mauritania have managed to get a draw out of Tunisia, so maybe look out for them, even if they're not going to really progress. So up next, Zambia. Now, this is a team where I think they are good enough to get into the next stage. Not the favourites, but I think they're good enough. I think since they brought in Milton, who's got a very long last name, the Serbian manager, he's got Zambia back on track to being a good team. Maybe came a bit too late, hence why Zambia didn't make it to the Africa Cup of Nations, unlike everyone else in this group. But I think that they're a team to watch, and I think they'll run Tunisia pretty close. Could even top the group. The fact they won't be able to have Patson Daka for the home games is a big blow, but they could still find a way and maybe prioritise on getting as many using Daka to his best in the games he can play it in. So, and that might work out. Zambia, I'd say. Well, Zambia, some people say that they didn't deserve it, but they got a draw out of Algeria, who were the best team in who are the best team in Africa. And I'd say also, and yes, you could say that Algeria only used half of their first team, but still, even a loss by not much is impressive for a team like this. And now on to Tunisia. It's a team I've not been particularly impressed with since just before the last World Cup. I mean, I've expressed before that I don't think they're as good as second best African team. I think they're more like seventh best. I don't think they're going to be a particular. They're going to be a strong contender. I'd say they'll probably only qualify if in the following round they get a draw with the luck of the draw, more or less. But I think Zambia could easily pip them to that first place. I'd say Tunisia probably have the better chance, but they are beatable compared to if Zambia came up against like Algeria, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and some of the other teams, some of the other top teams. I mean, Tunisia aren't the worst of the Part 1 teams, but they're beatable compared to others. Wabi Kazri's the standout player and former Sunderland player. He's certainly passable. He's no Riyad Mahrez or Sadio Mane though, but he could be a help for Tunisia going forward. They're a team that who like to defend quite well. As resolute at the back as Dean from Algerian Football said from when he was last on the channel. I think so. Before I get to the games, I did make a prediction to how I think the group would pan out, and it said that it would be like Equatorial Guinea would get 1 point, Mauritania on 5 points, and then 6 points. And then I'd have Tunisia and Zambia both on 13 points without having not calculated the goal difference yet. However, I think things have kind of lost their Zambia have kind of lost the favour. Things gone out of Zambia's favour a bit because Patson Daka won't be in at least. Won't be involved in all the games. We'll have to see how much he is allowed to play in the next international break, providing the UK government laws since he joined Leicester. And also the loss of the Serbian manager, who I thought was excellent for Zambia. I mean, they're two big losses, especially for that Tunisia game. I think. So things perhaps that have gone more in Tunisia's favour. But let's get into the two games. So let's start with Tunisia versus Equatorial Guinea. I think it'll be pretty one-sided. I don't expect Tunisia to batter at Equatorial Guinea by any means. They could do, well, certainly not steamroll them over by anything, because I guess, but kind of defensively they're stronger than in the attack. But I think Tunisia have more quality in their team than Equatorial Guinea, and I'm going to say it will be a 3-0 victory to Tunisia. And now let's go on to Mauritania versus Zambia. This will be a big game for Zambia, but for both, if they've got any chance of getting into first place. Mauritania, I think, will be a team that can get points out of both Tunisia and Zambia. I think Patson Daka should be available for Zambia. and I think that overall they've got more recognisable names who are proven at on different levels, like in the league and in African football. So I'd say Zambia probably are the better team, but can they get the win? Well, if they're gonna, if they don't need to prioritise Patson Daka for the Tunisia game, then they're gonna surely use him more. So maybe it could be a win for Zambia, possibly a 3-2 win. But I am gonna stick with what I said initially and say Mauritania 2, Zambia 2. Now let's get on to the next game week, which will be where Zambia face Tunisia and Equatorial Guinea take on Mauritania. Now, Zambia will certainly have the home advantage here. Tunisia may get the jet lag, having to travel all the way down to the southern end of Africa. Southern area. Certainly not as south as South Africa, but anyway, that can work into Zambia's favour. Although you'd have to say that Zambia's players overall aren't as good as what Tunisia have, and the fact they won't be able to play Patson Daka is going to be hard. I had this game ending 2-1 Zambia, but the fact that Daka won't be available, and I don't know if Sakala's going to be playing, the Rangers player. I think he's Zambian, but anyway, I think the fact they'll have no Patson Daka will be a loss, and I think things will probably start out in Tunisia's favour, similar to when Zambia played Algeria at home back in March. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw, and Zambia's going to get themselves back into the game. I think they'll probably have enough probably won't have enough to get the win, but a draw shouldn't be too much of a problem. Although Tunisia will certainly be favourites. But we don't know whether Tunisia will be solid or make some mistakes at the back, which they do have in them. Case in point, the late own goal against Ghana in the last AFCON. But this is going to be a game I'm looking forward to, and I'll certainly be watching. And as a side note, all the CAF games will be available on FIFA's YouTube channel, FIFA TV, and there'll be free live streams to watch all the games. And I don't know how much further it will be. So, and now let's go on to onto Equatorial Guinea versus Mauritania. Well, it's a game of two teams I don't have a lot of knowledge about, and I think Equatorial certainly aren't bad enough to lose every game. So I think they'll get something in this game, and I think it will be a 1-1 draw. And there's not too much more to say. So there's my overall view onto the group and the upcoming fixtures. Sorry if it's not as good as you might have hoped. Maybe I could have done better. But if there's any other groups you think I should do, whether you're a fan of any team in CAF, thought about covering the group Ghana are in, and I think it's going to be good. keep track of everything, and yeah, or even just beyond Africa. If there's any World Cup groups you'd like me to cover, then just let me know in the comments, and I'll certainly heavily consider it. And just a side note, I've noticed a lot of comments that have come on my channel have seemed to disappear, and I'm not deleting the comments. It's just that YouTube seems to be kind of automatically removing it or some way. But yeah, that's it. It's that's my overall thoughts on to the Group B of CAF in the World Cup qualifiers, and I'll be back to review the games of Tunisia versus Equatorial Guinea and Mauritania versus Zambia. From meantime, it's coming home.